Hello, everyone. It is your girl, Ayana, the Crafty Notary, back with another video. Today, I want to go over some notary basics. So, what I have noticed is in a few groups that I belong to across social media, is that sometimes people don't know how to properly complete a notarial certificate. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then this video is probably for you. If you've gone through the NNA course, you should have an idea of what a notarial certificate looks like. There's two different kinds. You can have a notarial certificate already embedded in a document. So, for example, in a loan document, you could have it already embedded in. So on this particular document, let's see if I cover the names here. If you can see, the certificate is at the bottom, down in this portion. So that's your notarial certificate. You can also have a loose certificate. And the loose certificate is usually for when you have a document that maybe someone brings to you and you don't have enough room to notarize actually on the document. So you would attach a loose certificate to the document, and that way they will have their notarization on a separate page and not actually on the first page. Now, you do want to be careful with attaching loose certificates, especially when you're doing loan signings, because a lot of the documents in a loan signing have to be recorded. And so the notarial stamp has to be on the actual document. So again, on this example, I'm going to fold it so that you don't see the people's name, because these are actually documents that I need to shred. So on this document, you can see this is a partial notarial certificate. This one does not satisfy all of the requirements for Florida, but we will go over that. But you will need to stamp on this actual document. And so that is for recording purposes, especially things like the deed and the mortgage. Those things are definitely recorded and they have to be stamped on the actual document. So attaching a certificate is not a great idea. These is usually used when a person is doing general notary work and bring their document to you, but you want to verify with them whether or not they need the stamp actually on the document or if you can attach a loose certificate. And if you're attaching a loose certificate, then you want to make sure that you're stating on the main document, loose certificate attached, or C certificate attached. And you want to staple it so that way it does not separate and they can use it somewhere else. But we'll go over the actual certificate in a second. What else did I want to say before I talked about that? Oh, so because you need to stamp on the actual document, the certificate that's on the actual document, you may want to invest in a mini stamp. So I personally have two different size stamps, and I'll show them to you because my bag is right here. I have to remember where I put them. So I have two separate stamps. I have the full version stamp that you get from that I ordered from the NNA. And then also from the NNA, I ordered the mini stamp. And I use this quite a bit during loan signings because some of the paperwork that the escrow company requires to be notarized, you will need, it doesn't have a lot of space. So you will need to use the smaller stamp. So when I get to a signing, I pull out all my stamps. I also have this stamp. This is a stamp that I had custom made. And a lot of documents are missing some of the wording. So this is that stamp. And we'll talk about this one in a little bit as well, too. So my little pouch that I made. So let's jump into the notarial certificate. So let me share my screen here. And I'm going to be looking this way. So if it looks like I'm not looking in the right direction, this is why. All right. All right. Look at that. So here we are. And I'm going to try to do my best to get this filled out for you guys. So this is my presentation for notarizing loose certificates. And let's see if I can get to the next slide. All right. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Because now I lost you guys. Hold on. You're there, but I can't see you. So let me see. How do I want to do this? Okay. All right. So this is notarizing the loose certificates. And we're just going to jump to the first one. So this one is the Florida individual acknowledgement. And let me get my primer out because we can talk about what this particular notarization does. And I want to quote it directly from the book, so there is no funny business about it. If I can find it. All right. Let's see. Where is it? I had it marked. All right. So an individual acknowledgement is for an individual that is signing on his or her own behalf. Okay. So what we're doing is certifying that the signer personally appeared before the notary, they were positively identified, and acknowledged the signing of the document. So we're acknowledging the signing of the document. All right. And that is in the notary primer on page 28. So let's go to the actual document. And I'm wondering if I have like a pointer. Well, I don't. All right. So at the top of the document, let's do it. You know what? Let's do it this way. Don't need that part. I want to do it so that I can edit the document for you. So let's do it a different way here. Okay. Here we go. And I am going to do it this way. All right, because now you can see my mouse. So this is the Florida individual acknowledgement. This document came directly, this document came from the National Notary Association, but you can pull it directly from the NNA's website. I don't believe they have it on the Florida website anywhere, but you can get this from the NNA website. All right. And you have the state of Florida here because you are only notarizing in the state of Florida. You're not authorized to notarize in any other state if you're commissioned in Florida. And then county of. County of means whichever county you are notarizing the document in. So it's not the county that you live in. It's the county where the notary is taking place. The notarization is taking place. So you want to make sure if you're in Polk, if you're in Pasco, if you're in Hillsborough, wherever you are, you're in Miami-Dade or Dade, Palm Beach, you want to make sure that is the county where the notary is actually taking place. All right. The next area is the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me by means of. Now, this particular statement here is what tells you what kind of document, what kind of signing this is, or what kind of notary this is, notarial act this is. So sometimes there is no title of the document, but if you read the language, it tells you what type of certificate you are signing. This one is an acknowledgement because it says the instrument was acknowledged before me by means of, and then you have either physical presence or online presence. Now, this document, if you're on Notarize, this document can be uploaded to Notarize and you can attach this in Notarize. Some they have their own loose documents there though, so it's pretty easy to attach a loose certificate in Notarize. But if you're doing a remote notarization using One Notary or some other platform, then you want to make sure you indicate that it's an online notarization. Okay. All right. So typically, if you're doing loan signings, there's always going to be physical presence. So you would check that box. The next thing is this blank day of blank blank by. So this is where the date of when the notary act is taking place. So if you're doing it today, it's going to be 8 January 2022. And let's go ahead and I'm going to fill it in here. So I always use 8th January. And let's move it over some. And 2022. And let's also go ahead and move it. There we go. Let's check the box for physical presence. So that way you have it. And you know what? While we're at it, let's go ahead and fill in this. I am currently in Pasco, so I am going to fill that in as well. So the next line is the name of the person acknowledging. So the name of the person acknowledging is the person who is signing the document. Okay. So we'll just put on here Jane Doe is the person signing. You also want to remember that if you are working with a loan signing and the borrower has a middle initial, you want to make sure that that middle initial is included. Or if they have a middle name, you want to make sure the full name is included as it is written on the document. So whatever document you're notarizing, you want to have the name of the person acknowledging the same as what is included on the document. Okay. All right. Moving on. Signature of Notary Public, State of Florida. That is me. So let's just pretend this is my signature. All right. And then let's see if I can change the font. I think I can. Boom. I like that one. I don't like it. Wait, here we go. Let's find a better one. What about this one? That one's nicer. So here is my signature. And then you also have to have the name, your name as your notary on the next line. So that's a requirement for Florida. You have to have your name printed below your signature. Okay. And this says printed or stamped. So you could use a stamp if you had a stamp with just your name on it in print, not a signature, in print. You cannot stamp your signature, but you can stamp this in print. So you type that in as well. Then this next section talks about whether or not you're personally known, or the borrower, the signer, is personally known, or if they produced ID. Unless you know them, you're probably going to pick they produced identification. Personally known is someone that you know who they are, you know their identity. So if it's someone through your boyfriend's cousin or whatever, and you don't really know them, I would not put personally known. I would say, show me your ID. All right. And then another requirement in Florida is that you have to have the ID type. So I always indicate the not drivers. I always indicate the state and I always indicate the type of ID. I don't put the number. I just put Florida driver's license or US passport or military US military ID, whatever it is. And then the next thing you want to do is put your stamp. And it says place the stamp above. So you're going to put it in this area. And your seal and your stamp is the same thing. Okay. Notary seal and notary stamp is the same thing. So you want to make sure you put your stamp right there. So just to be clear, that is where I'm stamping this, right in that area where it says seal or stamp. Now, on the Florida loose certificates, they have an optional section so that you can prevent alterations or fraudulent reattachment of the certificate. So it is highly recommended you use this section when you are using a loose certificate. Now, if you're doing it on the document, this area won't be there. Sometimes it is there in a loan signing, and it's optional to fill it out because it's actually on the document. But if you're attaching this loose certificate, you want this document, you want this area filled out. So hypothetically, you want to put the type of document it is. Let's just say it's a extra curricular school form for band. I did one of those before. So you can do that. And then you want to put the date of the document. This is the date. This date is the date that I put that the document is dated. This is not the date that I don't put the day it's signed. I put the day that the document was dated. But let's just say it was dated today. All right. And you want to have the number of pages because you want to make sure that in the event this comes back to you any kind of way, this document, this loose certificate says exactly what it was supposed to be used for, and that they could not have used it for the bank or whatever. And then if there are no other signers on there, you can just put NA. Now, if there were other signers, you can put their name here. You can put John Doe. And then when John signs on his certificate, you can put Jane on that one. So that is how you complete the acknowledgement certificate. Okay, so we got that one done. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, and that is the jurat. Now, the jurat is always tricky. So let's read it from the book as well. So, what a jurat is notarizing affidavits, depositions, or other forms of written verification by requiring an oath by the signer that the notary normally executes a jurat. So you are administering an oath. So this is usually called either a jurat, an oath, or an affirmation. It can be called all three of those things. Now, it also states the purpose of a verification with a jurat is to compel truthfulness by appealing to the signer's conscience and fear of criminal penalty for perjury. So now, this is different than an acknowledgement because an acknowledgement is just you positively identifying the signer and acknowledging that they signed. That's it. You're just saying, okay, you are Jane Doe, and I saw you sign the document. But a jurat is saying that Jane Doe is taking an oath on her own free will that appeals to her conscience so that she doesn't commit a crime in telling a lie about this document. So it's just a step further than an acknowledgement. So it also goes into say in executing a jurat, the notary is certifying that the signer personally appeared by physical presence or audio video. The signer was positively identified, so they still have to be identified, whether you know them personally or they produce ID, and that the notary has to witness the signature, and then the notary administered an oath. Okay, so a lot of folks are like, what is the oath? Like, what is the oath? What part is that? We'll get to that. And let me see. Yeah, we'll get to that. So let's go through the requirements of the document, and then we'll come back to how to state the oath. So this one's just similar to the acknowledgement. You got your county, you got what type of notarization you're doing, and then you got the day, the month, and I'm not going to fill this all out again. So these are all the same. This is all the same, just to save time. So everything else on here is the same. Now, what you want to do, and I am going to type it on this document. Now, it's normally not typed on a document, but I'm going to type it here so that you know what the oath is. So the oath is, and how I do it is, do you solemnly swear? Oops. You know what? Let me see. Can I do it over here? Yeah. Do it on the side. Do you solemnly affirm? I need to move this. Come on, move it, move it. All right. First of all, it's typing. There we go. It's typing in center. Do you solemnly affirm or swear? I want this to. I want this to wrap, but not sure if it's gonna wrap. I'm just gonna hit this. Do you solemnly affirm or swear that the statements in this document are true to the best of your knowledge? Spelled wrong, but it corrected. And belief. Belief. There you go. All right. Now, you can either say, do you solemnly affirm that the statements in this document are true to the best of your knowledge and belief? Or you can say, do you solemnly swear that the statements in this document are true to the best of your knowledge and belief, so help you God? I personally don't ever use the so help you God portion of it. And I created, I'll show you, for those who are doing loan signings, I created this little card. So it's right here in my case. So when I do a signing and go to get all of my supplies out, I take out this card. Right before I start the signing, I say, do you solemnly affirm or swear that the statements in this document are true to the best of your knowledge and belief, and that your signature is being made freely for the purposes stated in this document? So I kind of embellished it a little, but this is all you need to have, is that they're affirming or swearing. So now what's the difference between affirm or swear? If you're swearing by God. Okay. So if someone believes in God and they want to swear by God, they can swear. For someone who maybe does not believe in God, and they would not swear by God, or if they just don't, if they are a believer in God and they don't choose to swear by God, then they are affirming. And so affirming is, based on your own conscience, kind of in that vein. So you can use either one. That's why I combine them to say swear or affirm. I don't put the God portion because I'm not going to ask someone, do you believe in God or whatever have you. So I know when you get on the court stand, they say, so help you God. So it's very similar to that. So if that's what you want to say, then by all means, go for it. There's no issue with that. All right. So either one of them is an oath. So this is what a jurat is. A jurat is an oath. So I'm going to put it up here. Oath or affirmation. Okay. That is the jurat. All right. And if you want to find the wording for different types of oaths, they're in the notary primer on page 40. You have it, if they're testifying in a court case, if they're signing an affidavit, if you're affirming a credible identifying witness. So there's different versions in there for you to have them swear by the oath. And so let me just read this little blurb too. It says, an oath is a solemn spoken pledge to a supreme being. An affirmation is a solemn spoken pledge on one's own personal honor with no reference to a supreme being. Both are usually promises of truthfulness and have the same legal effect. In taking an oath or affirmation in an official proceeding, a person may be subject to criminal penalties for perjury should he or she fail to be truthful. So like if you're in a court of law. All right. So, all right. So that's it for that one. And then there's one more that's lesser used, and let's look at that last one. And it is for copy certification. So this one's not as widely used. I've personally never used one, but this is what the copy certification looks like. So this is if you are, let me see if there's some information about copy certification in this book. There should be. Certified copies, yep. 34. All right, so here we go. So notaries have the authority to certify or attest that a copy of an original document is a complete and true reproduction of the document that was copied. The notary's authority to certify copies is limited to documents that are not vital records or public records. So you cannot certify a birth certificate, a marriage certificate, a death certificate, any vital record or any public record. So you can't certify a copy of a deed, a copy of a mortgage, any type of public record that can be found. They have to do what is called an apostille in order to get that certified. So you can facilitate that, but that's another video. All right. So the permanent custodian of the document must present it to the notary and then request a certified copy. The notary must make or closely supervise the making of the photocopy to ensure that it's true, exact, and unaltered. So they're bringing the document to you. You are making the copy of the document, or let's say you're at a bank, you're watching the copy being made to make sure that it is the document that was brought to you. And then that's the copy that you are going to certify. So it says examples of documents that can be legally photocopied and certified are like diplomas, driver's license, a vehicle title, social security card, a medical record, a passport, a bill of sale, a contract or a lease, those types of things. Okay. It says you want to be careful that you're only certifying photocopies and not hand render copies, so they can't write a copy out and then you sign that. So it can't be a handwritten letter. They write 2 handwritten letters and then you certify one. You have to physically make a copy of the first original document in order to certify that copy. All right. And then I mentioned you cannot certify any recordable documents. Those have to go through the state of Florida. And you cannot certify any public records. So that's birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, only public officials may do that, or Bureau of Vital Statistics. They need a certified copy. They just need to buy another copy. That's the certified copy. So that is how that works. So let's take a look at the certificate. So again, state of Florida, county of Pasco, where I am, today's date goes here. And then this area says, I attest that the preceding or attached document is a true, exact, and complete and unaltered. Now, if there's room on your document, you can actually take all of this, or which one you need, and put that in a stamp like this, and just stamp it on the document. And that way you can just fill this in and not have to attach a loose certificate. So then it says either copy of a tangible or an electronic record presented to me by the document's custodian. So they brought you a document, you copied it, and it was presented to you. Or no, let me say this again. Copy of a tangible or electronic record presented to me by the document's custodian. So they brought the original and the copy to you. You verified that they were the same. Printout made by me from an electronic record. Let me scratch all of that again. I just contradicted what the book said. Copy of a tangible or electronic record presented to me by document's custodian. This is a document or an electronic record that was brought to you. You made the copy, or you watched the copy being made. If it's an electronic record, like a bank statement or something like that, you printed it and you saw the copy being made, the print being made. This one is printout made by me from electronic record presented to me by the document's custodian. If a printout, I further tested at the time of printing, no security features, if any, present on the electronic record indicated that the record has been altered since execution. So this is like, sometimes there's security features on checks. So that is what this statement is saying, that there are no security features on the document saying that it could not be copied. Okay, so first one again is a document they brought to you, you copied it or you watched it get copied. Second one is you made the printout from the electronic record. So you downloaded it, you printed it, and you're attesting that there's no other security features on that document that prohibit it or indicate that the document has been altered since it was executed. Okay. Then you're going to put your name and you're going to sign, and then same information here. I think that's all I got on this. Yep. All right. So let's come back here. I have one more thing I want to share. All right. So I'll come back here for a second. So there is one more thing that I do want to share that we're going to talk about really quickly. And you know what, guys? I do these videos on the fly. Like, I try not to edit them. And I don't edit them. I'm trying to find my document. I don't edit them because I just simply don't have the time to do that. So I try to do it. So if there's mistakes or me saying things, just forgive me, work with me. You can always leave a comment below and I'll definitely respond to your comments. So that is how I'm rolling in 2022. Okay. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is the requirements that you need on a notarial certificate. So this is whether it's loose or if it's on the form, like the one that we talked about here. So whether it's loose or on this form. So if you look at that on this form, how to complete that. So let me share my screen again. And here it is. Now I made this. So I am going to link this and the 3 notarial certificates, the loose certificates, into a drive in the description below so that you can have them for yourself. Okay, you're welcome. Now, in the state of Florida, notaries must include 9 pieces of information, 9 pieces of information on a notarial certificate. One of those pieces is optional. Well, depends on where you're signing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. We got them all. All right. So I'll take that back. All 9 of these need to be on a notarial certificate. This part down here, if remote, is optional, because if you're remote, then it goes. If you're physically with the person, then this area does not have to be there. So let's go over this. Number 1 is the venue. Sometimes you will see this on the document, and some folks don't know what venue means. Venue means, where are you? Where is the act being performed? It's going to be always in the state of Florida. Okay, I could have just put Florida here because that's where we're commissioned. Now, the county can change because you can be anywhere in the state of Florida performing a notary act. So whatever county you're in while you're doing an act, that is the venue that you're performing it in. So it's Florida, whatever county, that's your venue. The next thing that is required is the signer's printed name. Now, remember that I told you that whatever the name is on the document, so if the Jane Doe is just Jane Doe, then you use Jane Doe. But if it says Jane S. Doe or Jane Samantha Doe, then you need to print that full name on the notarial certificate. So it has to be the name that is on the document. And preferably the name also matches the ID. Okay. So some people like to play it safe and print the name as it is on the ID. I use the name that's on the document as long as I have verified that name with the ID. All right. The next one is the description of the notarial act. All right. Now, this means, are you doing an acknowledgement? Are you doing an oath or a jurat? Or are you doing a copy certification? So somewhere in your language, on your document, it is going to say what you're doing. If you're doing like a loan signing or something like that. So you don't have to write that on there. It should be already there. Oh, and this one's perfect. See, this one is already there, doesn't have any names. And this says, before me, a notary public, the undersigned officer personally appeared, and that's the person's name next, known to me or satisfactorily proven, which by ID, to be the person whose name is subscribed to within the instrument, and acknowledge that he, she, they executed the same purposes therein contained. So it says they acknowledged. And on my other one, it says the instrument was acknowledged before me. So that is an acknowledgement. Okay. So that tells you what kind of certificate this is. So you want to make sure that the language of the certificate reads in a way that you can determine whether it's an acknowledgement or an affirmation or an oath. All right. The next one is the notary's printed name. And usually it's the notary's signature first and then their printed name. The name, your name, has to be printed or stamped below your signature. Okay. It can't be like, for example, on this particular document, I don't know if you can see this because of my light, but there is no line that says printed name. So I would write my name right under my signature in that line. I'm going to write it there every single time underneath my signature. The method of identification. So how did you identify the person? Did you physically identify them by looking at their ID, or were they online? So that's that box where it says physical presence or ID. Now, a lot of loan signing documents don't have this information on it. You must write this information on the certificate. I got tired of writing it. So I created a stamp that says appeared by means of physical presence, and then produced identification, because that's the next one. So if I'm doing a loan signing, they're always going to be physically appearing before me. So I have the stamp that says appeared by means of physical presence. That's the method of identification for me. Like I said, it's not on this form. It's on this one. It says satisfactorily proven, but it does not have what type of ID they produced. So I would have to write that on here. So if you're out here signing, make loan signings, and you don't have this piece of information on there, it's not legal. You need to start doing it ASAP. So has to be physical presence or online. And then the next piece, it has to tell you what type of identification they produced. A lot of these loan signing certificates do not have this information. What I've noticed is that a lot of the lenders package has it on there, but the escrow company's documents do not. They just create a document, slap wording on the bottom, and they want a stamp. And so I'm trying to find another one. But like I said, if it's not on there, you must write it. I cannot be any more clear. Moving on. The next thing is you have to have your seal. Again, your seal is your stamp. Seal, stamp, same thing. Okay. And then finally, the date of the Notarial Act also has to be there. So the date has to be somewhere on that document. Like this one says, this instrument was acknowledged before me on January 8th, 2022. This one says on this 8th day of January, 2022. So usually the date language is there, but three things that are not there: a line for the signer, a line for the notary's printed name is usually not there. The method of identification, whether it's physical presence or online notarization, that's usually not there. The type of ID that's produced is usually not there. Sometimes it's the county and state is not there. Sometimes they have ones that it's just a regular document. See if I can find one of those. And then they just put the notarial language there, and there's no city state there, or no state slash venue county. Oh, I just saw one. Let me see. Yeah. No. Sometimes on some of the forms, like the survey affidavit, the venue is at the top of the form. So on this one, it's at the top. It says State of Florida, County of Polk. So you just have to look at the forms, see what's on the form, and see what you need to include. So feel free to print this out and take it with you, because you will need to make sure all of these things are there. And then if you're doing a remote signature, a remote notarization, you also have to have this blurb: disclosure that the notarization was performed via audio video communication. So if you're working for Notarize, they have this already in their system. I'm not sure if it's on One Notary. I don't remember, but you have to make sure it says by means or performed by via audio video communication. So that's that. That's all I got for you guys today. So this has been kind of a long video. We're at almost 45 minutes, but I feel like this information is very important for everyone, because like I said, I see a lot of posts. I see a lot of people that will post a screenshot. They get a loan sign, they post a screenshot. Where do I sign? Or how do I fill this out? You need to know this. If you don't know this, go back to the NNA course and study some more, because you need to know this, or rewatch the video and make sure you know that. All right. So make sure that you are liking this video, that you are subscribing to my channel for more content. I am looking to bring more basics to you in 2022, as well as I'm putting together a loan document signing, like a mock signing, that will likely be issued via Zoom. So get ready for that. It should be coming up maybe March, Aprilish, once I have it all put together. So that shall be coming up. If you would like coaching or mentorship, please go to my website, www.thecraftynotary.com, and click on the coaching tab and get your appointment for coaching. I have 30 and 60-minute slots available. If you are a previous client, you can also request another appointment for a lower cost. Now, I want to make sure that you guys are taking advantage of this because on February 1st, the prices are going up on that. And I'm not trying to hit anybody over the head. I honestly want to help everyone, but I want to make sure that my time is compensated for. So make sure that you get in there this month if you want to do some coaching with me and get on my calendar. What else? I said subscribe. I said like the video. Please share it if you need to share it with any of your other notary friends. What else? I think that's it. So until the next time, guys, I will see you and happy signing. Bye.